Good day, viewers. As political activities gradually gather momentum ahead of the 2027 general election, attention is increasingly turning to Rivers State, one of Nigeria's most politically significant and fiercely contested states. At the center of emerging discussions is businessman, philanthropist, and political figure Dumo Lulu-Briggs, whose name is being mentioned more frequently in conversations about the future of politics in the oil-rich state. The growing speculation has naturally led to one important question. Can Dumo Lulu-Briggs genuinely challenge the influence of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, who remains one of the most dominant political figures in Rivers State? While many political observers acknowledge Lulu-Briggs' visibility and resources, they also recognize that confronting Wike's political structure is a challenge unlike any other in contemporary Nigerian politics. The contest, if it eventually materializes, would represent a clash between a well-established political machine and an ambitious figure seeking to expand its influence within the state's political landscape. News of Wike's influence in Rivers State politics did not emerge overnight. Over the years, he has built an extensive political network that stretches across local governments, ward, community structures, traditional institutions, and party organizations. Having served as chairman of Obiakpo local government area, chief of staff to a governor, minister of state for education, governor of Rivers State, and currently minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike has accumulated decades of political experience and relationships. Even after leaving office as governor, he continues to command significant loyalty among political office holders, grassroots mobilizers, and influential stakeholders within the state. His ability to shape political outcomes has been demonstrated repeatedly through elections, appointments, and strategic alliances. For many analysts, any individual hoping to challenge his dominance must first contend with the vast political infrastructure that he has spent years building and maintaining. Despite the formidable challenge posed by Wike's political machinery, Dumo Lulu-Briggs possesses several qualities that make him a figure worth watching. Known for his business interests and philanthropic activities, Lulu-Briggs has built a reputation that extends beyond traditional politics. Over the years, he has remained visible in community development, youth empowerment, educational support, and humanitarian initiatives. Supporters argue that his extensive engagement with communities has earned him goodwill among many residents, particularly those who appreciate his contribution outside government. Unlike career politicians, whose influence often depends entirely on political office, Dumo Lulu-Briggs has developed an independent public profile rooted in business success and charitable work. This distinction could provide him with a unique platform from which to appeal to voters who may be seeking alternatives to the established political order. Another factor working in Lulu-Briggs' favor is the changing political environment in Rivers State. While Wike remains influential, there are segments of the population, particularly younger voters, who are increasingly interested in new political voices and fresh leadership approaches. Across Nigeria, there has been a growing appetite for candidates perceived as independent thinkers rather than products of traditional political structures. If Lulu-Briggs is able to position himself as a credible alternative, capable of addressing economic concerns, youth unemployment, infrastructural development, and governance reforms, he could attract support from voters looking for a different direction. Political observers note that elections are ultimately determined by the mood of the electorate, and public sentiment can shift significantly over time, especially in periods of economic or political uncertainty. Yet, converting public goodwill into political victory requires much more than popularity. One of the biggest challenges facing any potential challenger to Wike's influence is the need for a robust grassroots political structure. Elections in Rivers State are often decided through extensive ward-level mobilization, local alliances, and effective voter engagement. While Lulu-Briggs enjoy name recognition and public respect, questions remain regarding the strength of its political organization compared to the network controlled by Wike and his allies. Building a competitive structure capable of matching an established political machine requires substantial resources, coordination, and long-term planning. Political analysts frequently point out that many respected political figures have struggled in elections because they underestimated the importance of grassroots organization and overestimated the impact of personal popularity. The broader political environment leading into 2027 will also play a significant role in determining whether Lulu-Briggs can emerge as a serious challenger. Much will depend on which political platform he aligns with, the alliances he forms, and the level of support he receives from other influential stakeholders within Rivers State and beyond. Rivers politics has traditionally been shaped by coalitions, strategic partnerships, and negotiations among powerful political actors. A candidate operating in isolation often faces considerable disadvantages, regardless of personal popularity. If Lulu-Briggs is able to attract support from key political blocs, civil society groups, youth organizations, and influential community leaders, his prospects could improve considerably. On the other hand, a fragmented opposition would likely threaten Wike's position and make any challenge more difficult. There is also the issue of political experience. While Lulu-Briggs has participated in politics before and has contested elections, Wike's experience in navigating political contests, building alliances, and managing political crises remains one of his greatest advantages. Political campaigns are often won not only through public appeal, but also through strategic decision-making, negotiation skills, and the ability to respond effectively to changing circumstances. Wike's supporters frequently cite his political resilience and ability to survive intense political battles as evidence of his enduring strength. A challenger seeking to compete effectively must therefore demonstrate not only popularity but also the political sophistication required to operate successfully in a highly competitive environment. At this stage, it would be premature to predict the outcome of any potential political confrontation between Dumo Lulu-Briggs and Nyesom Wike. The 2027 election remains some distance away, and many variables could influence the political landscape between now and then. Economic conditions, party realignments, national political development, voter sentiment, and emerging alliances will all shape the environment in which future contests are fought. What is clear is that Rivers State will continue to occupy a central place in Nigeria's political conversation, and figures like Lulu-Briggs will attract increasing attention as political activities intensify. For now, the question is not whether Dumo Lulu-Briggs can generate interest or attract public attention. The real question is whether it can translate public goodwill, community influence, and personal credibility into a political structure capable of challenging one of the most powerful political networks in Nigeria. The answer will likely emerge gradually as the race towards 2027 unfolds, alliances are formed, and political actors reveal their intentions. Until then, Rivers State remains one of the most intriguing political battlegrounds to watch. That is all for now on News Express. And if you find this insightful, Kindly like, subscribe, and share this video. I'm Vincent Okoro. Thank you for watching and do have a beautiful day.